Now, there's going to be three things that I talk about in this video from what research is showing and from what I've asked from other supervisors and other psychologists in the field about what potentially psychology could look like in 10 years and if it might be something that you might want to look into and get into for yourself. What is up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Phil Sarpon. This is Phil's Guide to PsyD. This channel is dedicated to all things psychology, wellness, and graduate school. Today we have a really fun video planned for you guys. One of the questions that I've been getting from you guys is, what is psychology going to look like 10, 15, 20 years from now, in 2030, in 2040, and so forth? And I think this is such a great question because there is so much that is changing in our society every single day, every single year. There's so much technology that is involved in so many different aspects of all different types of professions, and psychology is no different. In fact, a lot of different types of technology are being pushed and influenced and impacted with psychology. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens 10, 15 years from now, to see how basically psychology is going to evolve and change. First thing is that there is probably going to be way more personalized methods of medication that are going to be really effective in terms of mental health in the next 10, 15 years. We already have a range of medication for anxiety, for depression, for schizophrenia, for a lot of different mental health disorders and so forth. But there's also a lot of side effects that come with that medication. And so hopefully within the next 10, 15 years with research, what research studies are showing is that there's going to be a lot more precision and accuracy in terms of personalizing these types of medication to really help patients. And what I mean by that is that these are called precision medicine drugs. They're basically custom tailored to a person's biochemistry. And again, what's really great about this is that there's fewer side effects in relation to these drugs because they are more personalized to your biochemistry and to your physiology and to some of the things that are going on in your genetics. Again, this might be really helpful for a lot of people. And I think even as a future psychologist, even though psychologists don't predominantly prescribe medication, this is huge, especially because you're going to be seeing patients who most likely might be seeing a psychiatrist or a nurse practitioner in terms of their medication. And so understanding this fundamental aspect of what could potentially change in the future, I think is really important. And I do think it does have some implications for psychologists in the future. Should more psychology schools involve other types of medication practices and teaching? Should psychologists in the future be able to prescribe medication more thoroughly throughout the nation or throughout the world? A lot of those questions are going to be soon to be determined in terms of what the need is going to be. As of right now, there are some states in the US that do have specific master's programs that psychologists can take either during graduate school or after graduate school and actually prescribe medication after the certification. It's not common in all of the states, and so it's really important to actually do your homework and research what those specific states are. But again, this might be a potential thing for the future that could really change and evolve over time and really change the trajectory of what psychology might look like in the future. The second thing is that there's going to be a wide range of apps that are going to get just more and more intelligent. As you guys know, AI is definitely a legitimate thing, and I think in the mental health world, I don't think we're going to be replaced by robots specifically for therapy and such. But there's a lot of people that are using AI apps already, and there are a number of different apps that are probably going to come out in the next 10, 15 years. They're going to get really good at helping people think through problems, think through situations, understand their emotions, understand their feelings, ask them questions. And again, not to say that they're going to replace therapists or psychologists, but these apps are just going to get smarter and smarter over time. Now, the thing is that again, there's already tons of apps that are really helpful for mindfulness, for meditation, for cognitive behavioral thinking. A lot of therapy now is done online and using some of these apps. And so I think that stuff is only going to get more and more popular over time, especially with virtual therapy becoming so popular right now. Now, one of the ways that these apps actually I think could be really helpful for psychologists is determining perhaps what mental health disorders to diagnose patients with, right? Based on their conditions, their history, their background, all of these different things. Sometimes diagnosing diagnosing can be more subjective than objective, and perhaps using technology or apps to help you be more precise when it comes to diagnosing as a clinician, that I could see to be potentially really helpful. And then last but not least, there is going to be a wave of gene therapy. Some of you guys have probably already heard about this. Gene therapy is basically the potential for parents who are wanting to have a baby to ensure a certain genetic resistance to serious physical or mental illnesses. Now, of course, this deals with changing perhaps some of the structures or altering some of the structures of genetic code, which is a way out of my league in terms of really truly understanding that. But this is definitely probably going to be a reality 10, 15, 20 years from now as technology gets more advanced. Now, I'd love to know your comments and thoughts about that, but I don't know. And one of the things that I think is going to be really interesting is that as future clinicians, we are going to have a voice in this, hopefully, especially as parents are coming in for couples therapy or family therapy who are considering gene therapy. You know, what are the pros? What are the cons? What if it doesn't work well? What are going to be the side effects to this? I mean, there's a lot of different things, mental health factors and psychological factors that I think clinicians can specifically help people as they're navigating these decisions. Those are just some things to look out for, guys. I'm not saying that these things are definitely going to happen, but from what research is showing and from the people that I've talked to in some of these networks, it does seem potential. It does seem like there is a slight potential and there is a possibility of some of these coming to fruition by the time you graduate from school. By the time you become a psychologist, you might be having to deal with some of these concerns. So hopefully you guys can be well informed about that, but I'd love to know your thoughts. If you have any questions, put it down in the comment section below. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and with that, I will see you guys in the next video.